learning together today, December 7, 2025. Let's listen.
There's four things that actually are going to drive your wealth, no matter what you do in life. And the first is this, is that the first thing that drives your wealth is, let me put that up on the screen, and that is your income. Now, most people focus on this and everything, but the income's only one aspect. How much you make is one thing, but it's how much you keep. It's how much that what you're doing with what you keep that matters. And so if we look at it from that context, now we start to understand things a little differently. But there's a second aspect of this, and these are the four wealth drivers that'll come into play. The second aspect is your savings rate. This is actually the percentage of the income that you're putting away. So I need to know my income. I need to know my savings rate. How much I'm going to put away. Now, some people are saying I haven't put anything away, which we're going to touch on that in a moment. And then the third aspect is your investment returns. In other words, how much are you making on investments? But here's the thing to realize. We want higher income. We want higher investment returns. I want a higher savings rate. But let's get clear on the investment return piece. Typically, the higher the returns on investments are, in fact, then the higher the risk is. So there's trade-off there, okay? This is why a CD is paying you less than 1%, versus if you go into a more risky investment, they're paying you more. They're paying you more because they're paying you for the risk that you're taking on. And then there's one last aspect of this. Time. Of these four, which one do you think is the most important? Time. Time's the most important. Now, here's the challenge with this. We all don't control time. We don't control time, other than one thing. Today. This present moment. And let's go back. Now, some of you may sit back and say, I'm not investing, I'm not saving, I'm not doing this. Or some of you might be sitting back and saying, I'm 20 years old, I got time. You don't. The reason Jeremy and Cammie have the kind of wealth that they have is because they started at 16, 17 years old. If they stay true to the process, by the time they're 35, they're done. But if we wait 35 years, you'll see some of the math behind it. You'll see how this plays out. Time is important, but we don't control. The only thing we control about time is what we do here and now. So we make that behavior change today. We commit to make the behavior change today to go and start savings, creating a savings rate, because now the second most important thing about this is actually this, the savings rate. So I want to push my savings rate as high as I possibly can. I want to get in the game right now, with time, and then we can focus on the income. The last thing I'm worried about is the investment returns. Because if I can get these two right, then I have the space and place to be able to make that happen. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. Let me know if this is landing for you. Because when we get the savings rate and the time in place effectively, then it'll take care of itself. Now, here's the thing. I know a lot of people that sit back and go, but Mel, I can't put money away. I don't have a lot of money. I could probably put $5 away. Then let's put $5 away. It's a behavior, remember? It's a muscle, your investing muscle, your savings muscle, your wealth creation muscle. It's a muscle. When you first first ever go to the gym, you don't go to the big clunky weights that are really heavy and start lifting. You end up sore, you end up hurt and everything. No, you go to the smaller weights. You start somewhere. So if all we have is $5, there's no shame in that. Start the exercise. Start exercising the muscle, because the 5 turns into 10, the 10 turns into 20, and so on and so forth. We don't need a lot to make a ton.